Your imagination. Married with the right people. Sensitive. A lot of they will take that. If they don't, they'll come back. That's how it works. I know. That's what I'm I know.
Yeah.
How are you?
Not too bad. Did I miss any sort of presentation?
Nope, we're getting ready to start. You are just in time.
Give me 5 minutes. 5 minute warning. Yeah, you guys just, yeah. I mean, what's that? Yeah. Yeah. I've the inflatables have invaded our house. Just it's for the kid. Yeah. Wife comes over, she's like, "What's that out there?" Like, "Oh, it's for the kids." So yeah, but yeah, it's getting exciting. Little guy is he keeps on asking my wife is very anti-elf. Yeah, like super anti-elf. I don't know if an elf harmed her. I don't know. I don't know. Oh yeah. My daughter is all about it because I guess her friends have elves, and so now she's gonna be like, I don't have an elf, you know. So, figure.
They had a sign, patient doors that said, health. Doctor's office, the LC.
That works. Yeah, do that again next year. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna start going, but it seemed like it grew.
Hello. Hi, Rob. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, good deal. I just wanted to make sure somebody can hear me out there. And thumbs up. Can you see my screen? Perfect.
Well,
All right, good deal.
I can see your camera. Sorry, I can't see a screen. So if you're
I
sharing
can't see
your
the screen. All right, just a second.
I can't see that. Sorry.
Should see something now. Perfect. All right, good deal. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. We'll go and get started up tonight, so we can, digest before Theo starts up on her meeting today. Thank you everybody for coming to the December version or December edition of the Bernard Seaford Astronomical Society monthly member meeting for members as well as non-members and visitors. Thank you all for coming tonight. Hopefully you guys had a chance to look over silent auction material as you were dining across our extravaganza over there. This is let's see, we are a little less than a week from Christmas, so hopefully everybody's ready for the holiday season. All right. I always like to put up some Christmassy things or some themed items, and so I always love looking at this one, the Christmas tree cluster. I have a tree in the way, or else that would be my own picture. I stole that from online. So it's always a fun one this time of year. And if you didn't know me, I'm Tom Beckerman, the current president. We have elections tonight where potentially I will be stepping down. So hopefully we'll be here for that in a second for voting. All right. First off, we'll go ahead and call to order. I know I've seen the minutes come around and I've read through them. Has anybody had any questions from the last meeting's minutes or the board meeting minutes that have gone around? Perfect. Theo, I guess Keith isn't here. For members, we are at 253, up a few from last month. Theo, do you have a treasurer's report?
Yep, we got a little bit of money, so, let's see, our bank.
I miss that.
Huh?
We're gonna miss that.
I know.
He's training though.
I mean, I stole that from Bud, okay, so it can't be stolen from me.
Yeah.
The bank balance is $6,865.25. There's the big expense this last month when I paid for the storage unit for all of 2026. They're promising us a hike in September, so I said, just tell us what the difference is when we get there. And we have $738 in PayPal. Donna's doing a fantastic job of getting us followed on Facebook by 2.8 thousand people. And Twitter's still hanging out there, so it cancel star parties occasionally, that's all it does.
Yeah. I think I took a look and we're down 40 people, but yeah, we don't post it very often anyways. All right, moving right along. First off, a couple bits of business coming up as we're rounding out the 2025 season. First off, really important for everybody, especially if you like coming to in-person meetings. The observatory here has been fantastic and we love it here. They are undergoing some renovations over the next year. The timing of that, we're not too sure, but we have secured the Edwin Warner's Nature Center for us to meet at. If you're not certain of where the Nature Center is, it's at the corner of Old Hickory and 100, not this Old Hickory and 100, but this one here. It's got about how many people can fit, or I haven't
Room probably to 150 probably.
Yeah. So it should be a fun event. Plus, we get to spend some time with Warner Nature Center people that we truly enjoy.
Show them where the entrance is, because the entrance isn't at the corner.
Yeah, the entrance is right here.
There you go.
It's in between the two Old Hickory Boulevards. It's on this side of the road. Be careful as you're approaching because traffic kind of moves, and then when people are stopped there, sometimes traffic doesn't stop moving and can be somewhat chaotic. But I pass this way going home quite a bit, so it's nice for me because it's only 10 minutes down the road. So I don't mind. The next member meeting is in 2026. It's January 21st. We'll be at the Warner Nature Center. It's our telescope workshop, where if you've got a scope that you got for Christmas, or you have one of our loaner scopes and you'd like some help with it, or
scopes up in the back,
what's that?
or you pick up one of the scopes in the back.
Yeah, pick one of the scopes in the back. You're more than welcome to bring them, and we can walk through helping you get set up and stuff like that. Use the brain trust of years of experience here. So that'll be what's going on for next month. Continuing on with things going on in the board meeting over the past couple months, we've been discussing a few things. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up about things that may be potentially coming up in the next year. we're working on ways of organizing star parties and outreach in terms of potentially building committees that include both board members and club members as well. And so give everybody a chance to have a little bit of a voice in how the club moves forward, trying to make sure everybody's voices are heard. The newsletter, we're working on optimizing its distribution and making sure that it's got good quality content and things like that. We're also working with getting our website updated. And so hopefully that comes up over the next year. So things to look forward and changes there. And we're also working through ways of getting speakers to come in and talk to us. And so those are some things that we'll be pushing forth over the next year. If you have any suggestions or comments on any of these things, please feel free to reach out to us, info@bsasnashville.com. We'd love to hear your opinions. We know we've seen some opinions from the survey that Steve sent out beginning of the year.
Last year.
Yeah. Beginning of the year. Yeah. And so we're still working with that knowledge. And so if you have any other comments or thoughts or suggestions, please let us know. And then what everybody's always excited for is our election for 2026. Let's see if that goes for some reason. There we go. Election for 2026. This is our annual election right at the end of the year for prepping for 2026 board. For 2025, we've had a great group of people, officers, myself as president, Steve's vice president, Steve over here, wave, that's Steve, EO treasurer, EO up there, Bud, not here, and Keith isn't here as well, but Stephanie, did I see Stephanie? Yeah. Donna, did she make it? She's out of town. Tony back there. And then Jean there. And I haven't seen Andy tonight, but it's been a great group of people. We meet the first Monday of every month, about an hour and a half. So we're all volunteers. And so we're all trying to do the best for the club. Notice that directors serve a 3-year position, a 3-year term, and I posted the list of when terms are coming up. And so this year we've got 2 terms coming up, ending in 2025, and so we need to vote for those, as well as our officers. Everybody except the ex officio position is voted on yearly, and so for this upcoming 2026, this is how everything is somewhat shaking out. Over here at the directors at large, Keith is going to step over, or potentially going to step over and take a directors at large position. Andy is going to stay on with the director at large position, and Theo is going to come over and step into a position that ends in 2027. And what this means is that I'm going to come down here. I'm going to hang up my cleats for a while and come down to the ex officio. And so I kicked Keith out. Steve is potentially going to come up as president. Gene's going to slide up to vice president. Secretary still Bud, and new to our ranks would be Natalie. Natalie, can you wave? That's Natalie back there. She will hopefully know that there's a little bit of money as well. Keep our tradition going. And so this is what I propose for the upcoming 2026 board. And if it abides, I'd like to open it up for any comments or suggestions if we have them. Yeah.
I move that we accept this slate of wonderful volunteers.
Awesome. Do we get a second? Second. All right. All in favor, please raise your hands. Anybody opposed? Steve, put your hand up. No, just joking. All right. Well, this officially puts us in starting January 1. I will hand the gavel over to Steve. I do have the gavel in my bag. It's a little Southwest squishy one, or so what was it? The bank was it? Can't remember what bank it was, but it's a little squishy gavel. I'll pass off. All right. Well, good deal. Well, also I need to mention, Theo, how long have you been on our board? That's a fun one. I wanted to put you on the spot because I honestly don't know.
since probably 20.
In short. 22.
After Labor Day was a little bit later, right?
Oh,
But this
it's like 2008.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had a pretty good run. And please tell everybody why you're shifting out of the treasurer position.
Because I can't visit tourists from New Mexico.
Theo is taking one for the team and setting up an observatory for us down there. I heard she does have a guest room. So, but
So BSAS West.
yeah, yeah. The S now stands for Southwest, I guess, something like that. We can figure it out. BSW. Anyways, but Theo's gonna stay on from a distance and help Natalie get her feet wet, and learn all about money and the chaotic adventures behind BSAS's facade. So, welcome everybody to the board, and thank you for 2025. It's been a fantastic year. All right. Now on to the normal spiel. If you are visiting, welcome. If you're new to the club, welcome. Glad to have everybody here tonight, members and non-members alike. This is where you can find us, bsasnashville.com. I threw these QR codes up here just for kicks. So if you feel like zapping something with your phone, you can get to whatever website's available. On our website, we have a few things that I really like to point out. We still have posters available. Theo? We have a few here tonight. Are they on the table back there?
Not on the table. Make me an offer for the ones I have.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could sell them in New Mexico. I mean, if they like their hatches, I guess they like hatch chilies. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta buy the new.
Yeah, right. But that's available on here. The 50th anniversary hat show print. If you click on that, it'll take you to a link where you can purchase it. You can pick it up in person as long as Theo hands them off, or we can ship them to you. I guess you could ship from New Mexico.
I do actually have, and whoever gets the prints should take these. In a different job, we were selling posters, and so I have these nice long boxes that do a great job on posters. And I collected, like when I was back, and I said, hey, are you guys doing anything with those boxes we bought? No, you can have them. So I have a whole pile of shipping boxes that fit posters.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I actually cut them down because the post office went and did something weird where they said it's longer than this many inches. You have an extra amount. And they were oversized for the posters, so I cut like 12 inches off of it, so I get the super rate.
You know what? That's how you don't go broke, right? Awesome. All right. So if you're interested in a poster, either see Theo tonight, make her an offer, or come in through the website here. There's information about next member meetings and next star parties as well. I really like to rave about this, the Nashville Clear Sky Chart. What it is it tells you when it's nice to go outside and when it's not necessarily nice to go outside. It can be wrong-ish. You can zero it in for a closer address. But the darker it is, the better it is to see. And so you can see tonight, if you've been outside lately, it's been nice and cloudy and a little glowy because of the clouds up. Tomorrow, we're supposed to get nastiness, and this kind of shows that. But it looks like Friday and Saturday-ish might be all right to go out and take a look at some things. But it's a really good tool to use to see if it's worth putting out the telescope or not. All right. Also on our website, we have a whole host of things. If you're interested in becoming a member and you're not a member already, if you click on this link, it'll take you to this page where you can find out all of our benefits. We send out an Eclipse newsletter that contains some information from the club and usually contains some interesting stories from astronomically related items. Because we run our account through the Night Sky Network, we also get their discounted rate to astronomy and Sky and Telescope magazine. So if you're a space nut like I am, that comes in handy. What's that? There's a link on the Night Sky Network, and I could show you after we're all said and done if you'd like. But yeah, you go through the Night Sky Network and sign up for those. We're also a membership members of the Astronomical League. And so when you become a member of the club, you also become a member of the Astronomical League as well. They send out the Reflector. It's their quarterly journal. And so you get a little bit more of a broad scope of what's going on in the astronomical society or in the astronomy in general. You get a vote in the BSAS election, which you all had a chance to do today. So way to go and exercise that ability. And then finally, you get invitation to private star parties. We have one private star party usually scheduled a month, and it's out on the Natchez Trace, which is our darkest kind of location that we get access to. We pick up a permit every year to allow us to go out there and be there overnight from dusk to dawn, and so we don't get rousted. And so there's two places out on the Natchez Trace where we typically hold those. Down here, it tells you how to begin. You'll first create an account with Night Sky Network, which is how we run our club, how we control our rosters, and how we send out emails regarding club events like member meetings and star parties. Down here, you'll go to this Buy Now button. Notice that it says individual 25. If you click on it, there's a couple different options. Families 35, students 15, senior families 20, and that's a per year item, so it's not too pricey. And so you'll pay us through PayPal, and then Keith, I believe, is still doing members, and then whoever's treasurer or treasuring will notify Keith that so and so paid, and then we'll get the handshake going and hopefully get you added to our rolls soon. One of the other perks of becoming a member is that we have loaner equipment available to you. We're constantly working through the equipment, trying to maintain it and keep it optimized and things like that. Gene has been helping me take care of that, and he's stepping into that role. But we have a host of telescopes that are available to loan. We were attempting to get some of them here tonight, but the elevators were down on our storage unit, and nobody wants to carry down a big old daub. I mean, I guess they'd roll or tumble, I guess, depending on how you push. But we do have scopes available. The list is on the Google group, and I'll talk about that in a minute. If you do have a scope, let us know how you're doing with it. Let us know if you have any questions with it. Let us know if it's frustrating you so much that it's just a paperweight right now, because that happens too. It might be something simple as maybe there's cloudiness somewhere that we need to clean up, or maybe you're out of collimation. If you don't know what collimation is, well, that's something you can ask us, right? To see if we can help you figure things out. And so if there's also anything else we can help with, we'd love to hear about it and help you out. Okay. One great thing about this loaner equipment, especially coming up this time of year, is it gives you an opportunity to try before you buy. And so again, if you wanted to see if an 8-inch Dob is as magnificent as it says, which it is, you can decide if it's worth it to lug it around in your little Ford Fiesta. Right? They can take up quite a bit of room. So if you want to test out the feasibility of it, we have that available. Okay. Back to our website. There are a few things here that's supposed to be shifted up. We have a couple ways to get in touch with us. We have our discussion forum, which is Google Groups, and then we have our social media accounts down here that Theo just mentioned. Thankfully, Donna has helped us out quite a bit with posting and things like that. And so here's where you can find us on Facebook. We're BSAS Nashville, and so that's a common theme that you'll see. We post a variety of things like images that people post on Google Groups. We also share events of local events that are astronomy related, like here. Dyer posted a couple images of the sun, and this one's a cool one. I didn't have access to the feed for it, but it rotates around and shows the sun in different types of visions, like hydrogen and calcium and things like that. But it's a really cool post. But you can find fun stuff on here. You also see stuff about ISS passes and comets and asteroids that hopefully aren't going to blow us up, right? So I think Theo spends a lot of time posting on that. All right. Also, we are on Instagram at BSAS Nashville. We have a lot of talented people here that do really great work with imaging and things like that. If you're on Instagram or you like looking at pictures on Instagram, give us a follow. If you're on Instagram and you take pictures and would like to be featured on our Instagram page, we'd be happy to. Let us know, send us a picture or post it in the Google groups and we'll snag it up and post it up proper. But if you do that and you do have an Instagram account, let us know your handle so we can give you credit for it. Because we love all the pictures that come in, and so we'd love to give you credit. You can, like I said, post to Google groups or send us an email at info@bsasnashville.com with a link to it on Dropbox, or if you just want to send us the picture, you can do that as well. We do have Google groups. This is how we communicate quite a bit with the club internally. If you aren't on Google groups, we're BSAS Nashville here. For access, though, contact us, send us an email or get in touch with me or Keith if he's around or if you catch up with him, and we'll get you included in this group. So it's a private community just for us members. On here, you'll find a few things. Notice that at this top part, there's a 2025 BSAS Natchez Trace permit. So if you're going to go to one of those private star parties or you're going to go out on Natchez Trace anytime after dark, be sure to have that on you. It doesn't have to be a printed copy. It can be on your phone, but the federal officers are going to ask to see it if they do stop and come and say hi. So that tells them that we're okay to be out there with our equipment. This is a link to the equipment list seen here. And if you click on that, it'll take you to a Google sheet that'll hopefully be up and functional so you can look through and see what we have. And if you're interested in anything, there's a link that says request this and it'll pop up an email and it should populate what you've clicked on and it'll send us an email. Also on the Google groups, there's quite a few things that we can find out here. Oh, there it goes. We have a whole host of things that get posted on the Google groups. It's great whenever it's active. We see a lot of events coming around. There's things that are going on in the sky. So we'll see a lot of attractions being posted. Star party updates, like whether things are rained out or just deciding whether we're going to rain something out or not. Pop-up star parties show up through there, like Sears Lebanon or out at Hidden or Harpeth. What is it? Hidden Lake. I was close. The Hidden Lake area. So we have pop-ups that happen up all over the place, and a variety of outreach that we have going on, such as the winter solstice celebration, which will be at Warner Park. Steve posted this the other day. This is December 19th, so that's Friday from 4 to 7. So come out and celebrate the winter coming. It's going to be in the place where we're going to be meeting, or where's it at?
Yeah, the nature center, the main nature center right beside it.
Okay, so
Can't miss it. It'll be tons of people can't miss it.
Yep.
But be aware, you have to register because they have limited space. So you have to register through, it's free, but you have to register through the website. Unless you're bringing a scope. If you're bringing a telescope, you can get it for free. You just have to get there before 4 o'clock.
Perfect.
I think they asked us to get there by 3 o'clock. So that would be out of.
I'm getting there by noon, so I don't care.
I'll be there 3.
Perfect. So if you're interested in going to that, check out the Facebook page for Warner Park. I'm sure we can put a link of it up on our Facebook page. Steve, is there a link in this post? I don't remember seeing one.
Should be. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Where you can go on Google Groups and find this. And if you're not on Google Groups, let us know and we'll get you involved with that. Sherry posted this a couple days ago. If you've never seen the moonbow, it's pretty amazing. It's up at Cumberland Falls State Park. It's not too horribly far away, but when the moon is just right, you can actually catch a rainbow moonbow. It's reflecting that light.
Is that a moonbow behind it?
Yeah, that is a moonbow behind it. And it's one of the rare places that you
Where the mist from the falls lines up with the moon. And this one is in our backyard, so you need to go and see it.
How far away is that, Theo?
And it was like midnight before the moon was up high enough. But we were staying there at midnight with 200 of our closest friends on that overlay. So people do go for it, but it's super cool. What was a little bit of fun is, of course, I had the camera out. And I could go longer. A lot of cell phones, they're better now than they were even 5 years ago, but they couldn't go out long enough to really get it. Because it's faint. And so people were taking pictures of the back of my camera.
How far away is that?
You go Kentucky and take the Western Kentucky Park there, Bluegrass Parkway across, it's out there, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad park.
Yeah.
Campground will probably do in there, you can stay in luxury.
We'll see this come up again here in a few slides. But if you're interested, this is up there on Google Groups as well. Things also on Google Groups, lots of pretty pictures. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of talented people in the group. We had this one come up in Hawaii. For some reason, my tag didn't come up, but you can see it's a really fantastic picture. We always show stuff with the deep sky, but that's just an amazing picture. You can see why people really like to stargaze in Hawaii. Sherry also posted this picture with her moonbow, and so there you can see it coming up and around with the beautiful stars in the background. So that's again a sight to see. Sherry also was in Alaska and posted some of these cool things. She was a Bortle 1, which is nice and dark, and these were with an iPhone. So that's the quality of sky. Kind of puts our Nashville to shame. But hey, we were in Nashville and we didn't have to drive to Alaska, right? But so these are posted up on the Google Groups as well. And then of course we have the traditional dark sky stuff. Bobby with his Sea Star, got part of the Pleiades here. Chris with the Orion Nebula, beautiful work there. Sheldon with the Andromeda galaxy, a couple stacked pictures of narrowband and broadband imaging. And then also wanted to bring this up. A member of ours just got today's APOD. Jeffrey was picked up 2025, December 17th for his Soul Nebula. And to me, I was like, really? But it's a really good zoomed in area of it. If you wanted to check out the APOD write up, you can scan that. We've highlighted this before because he's been on the, on Astrobin. And so I brought this up before. 234 hours and 55 minutes of integration time. That's one of the ways to get an APOD. So it isn't his longest set of exposures, but you can tell he's got a lot of craft to what he does. And also Bortle 8, which he's pretty close to downtown Nashville-ish. And so there's a lot of light. And so, it does help to get dark skies, but it shows what you can do when you got your eye on something. So congratulations, Jeffrey, on the APOD. I mentioned Astrobin. We do have a group kind of together of local astrophotographers or people that like astrophotography. If you like pretty pictures, it's a great place to view pretty pictures. You don't have to pay for a subscription. You can just join our group and see what the club's putting out. These are all shots from the group. And so, like I said, we have a lot of very talented people here. You can email us at info@bsasnashville.com, and I think Keith is running it now, and he can invite you in to that. And so it's always great to see what everybody's taking pictures of. I just wanted to bring this one image up. My label got chopped off. Trying to remember whose this was, maybe Sheldon's. This is the Pleiades. And I've never seen it like this before. I've always seen like little wisps, like little nebulosity. But when I clicked on this, because I was like, oh, that's a different take. I wanted to see, and he put up an image without stars. I just wanted to show it because like every time I think of the Pleiades, I just think of the stars and a little bit of nebulosity, but this is phenomenal. So again, a lot of really cool, pretty pictures on there. I just love all the filaments and stuff.
How many hours?
I don't, but that was pretty awesome. All right. Back onto Google Groups. Again, pictures. Steve is going to start trying to put together a calendar for 2026 with pictures from the locals. Might include an APOD, right? So if you are interested in being featured in the calendar, I mean, we've got 12 months. Maybe we could squeeze some into 2, like, so maybe 24 pictures, it's all up in the air depending on how many pictures we put in. Don't get scared away from quality because we are an amateur astronomical society, right? And so we're not expecting, you know, APOD worthy pictures from everybody. But we're interested to see what you guys are looking at and what you're interested in.
You got
Because
an A5, you're disqualified.
yeah. Sorry, Jeffrey, no APODs allowed. But if you're interested, get in touch with Steve. Here's what he posted um, on Google Groups. High resolution, ideally 300 DPI, roughly 3,000 pixels. Any astronomy subject, deep sky, planets, sun, wild field, Milky Way, aurora, all sorts of fun stuff taken by you, BSAS members. If you're not a member, showed you how to become a member. No need for it to be recent, so you can dig through your old data. I have a ton of old data. Maybe I'll start fishing through them. Let us know some basic details of how you took it, where you took it, when you took it, maybe why you took it. What was the inspiration? You were just feeling Pegasus that night or something. I don't know. We need up to around 20 images. So, you know, that gives us a lot to play with and a lot of stuff to feature. And so I think Steve's wanting it all by New Year's Eve. And you have a time frame on that or anything? Any updates or?
Well, deadline for the image submissions is that's simply a convenient, deadline for it. And then we're hoping to have the calendar done and printed by the next by the January memory. That's the goal.
Perfect. How many you think you'll have? Or are you just going to do
Calendars,
one?
you mean?
Yeah,
And that's going to depend on cost and I don't know. We were thinking maybe a run of like 25 or 30 just to test the waters.
gotcha.
But then we can always, easy enough to reprint.
Yeah. So if you're interested in one, bring a telescope and a checkbook, right? Yeah. But we'll see what those turn out like. And I'm sure we'll get more information on Google Groups as they come out. How many images do you have right now?
Oh gosh, probably close to 100.
Cool.
Actually, honestly, so we've so but we got quite a lot of Andromedas and Orions.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah.
So yeah, just variety. Just keep on sending them. You know, what we might do too is we might ones that like don't make like honorable mentions. Maybe we'll do like a web page.
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah. So again, we'd love to see what you got. If you send us in, let us know if you don't want us to share it right on social media, because that also brings out the joy of the public, is seeing beautiful, pretty pictures, taken by locals and things like that. Because it's nice to know that you can reach the stars without having one of the big observatories, right? And so not too many of those here in Nashville. So get in touch with Steve. Again, this is Steve, our upcoming president. Just get in touch with him or post on the Google group and we can get you taken care of. One other thing I always like to bring up is the NASA Night Sky Network here. As I mentioned, this is how we run our club. I always been digging, like I think my whole tenure as president, I've just started digging into these things because I get sidetracked pretty easy by little squirrels here and there. And so today I was looking around through my usual things, and if you go to our link here, you can find our homepage, or here's where you would join the club. If you clicked on that, this is where it would take you. But we have our own personal little BSAS home on Night Sky Network. It tells you a little bit of information, gives you access to contact us. On the page itself, on Night Sky Network itself, as you know, the government was shut down for a while. I put this up last month. News for November, back after 43 days. And it's like, all right, sweet. They're going to start updating their content. I clicked on it today and it was still October's content. So they haven't updated these articles yet, but I'm sure that that'll get going. But again, I'm if anything, I'm very eager, I guess, to explore. And so a couple things I found, they had a link to this really kind of cool sky chart, shows what's coming through all through December. See the planets coming through. Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in the night sky. They also had a link to an article on sky measurements, and it always amazes me. Like, I know a few of these because I use them. Like I use the fist quite a bit because that's 10 degrees. And I often use this because I'm a metalhead and that's just natural for me. But I always forget that, like, oh, you can get a rough idea of how these things are. And so in that article, they had this, and so it's a pretty pretty good way to figure out how far away things are from one another. The other thing that's in here that they always mention is the Big Dipper. And so if you never looked at the Big Dipper, the stars, the Big Dipper is fairly easy to identify. If you're new to constellations, find the Big Dipper. It'll get you oriented to see how everything's kind of set up. Between Megrez and Dubhe, you have about 10 degrees. And so that's a fist length. And so it gives a good idea. Here's 25 degrees is typically tail to cup, right? And so you can get variety of distances through here. As I was looking at it, my brain always goes, man, the moon. How big is the moon? Because I always kind of forget. Like I know it's not as big as the Big Dipper, even though in my eyes I'm like, man, the moon's huge because I'm always shaking my fist at it because it's ruining my photos, right? And so I asked myself, how big is the moon? Anybody know how big the moon is in the sky?
Yeah.
Half a degree. So what does that mean? All right, so if we go half a degree, that means to fit in this little area, we get 11 of these bad boys. And to get those to fit, we do this, and then we do this. And so to me, that's like, holy cow, 11 moons in there. And that just shows how, like to me, just how vast the skies are. And then the other hand, right, there's one other hand on the far left there, which was 1 degree, which was a pinky. That means that it takes 2 moons to cross a pinky. Or if you put this at the scale, that's 1 large pinky. So and again, I always like diving down these rabbit holes to try and learn a little bit more about the sky. Again, doesn't take much to be president. You just have to have an interest in the sky, right? That's yeah. You're welcome, Steve. All right. But the Night Sky Network has a lot of really cool things. For observing, they have a lot of resources that are good to take. Has a lot of good information to bring to star parties and things like that. If you click on here on the Night Sky Planner, they have a lot of really cool things. Here's your current sun and moon data. If the clouds weren't out, it'd be a great time to get out because the moon's kind of tucking away. But over here on the right, you can see they have clear sky charts, sky maps, and a link to their Spot the Station apps. This is a map of where they get that sky chart that I showed on the BSAS page. They get that data from weather maps that look like this. The darker, the better. And so it's kind of cool to see those. I don't think I put an updated link in here for this week's map or today's map, but it's pretty cool. The sky maps, I love how they set these up. This is kind of my go-to now because it has a lot of really cool information. They have details about things going on throughout the month. Over here on the right, they have little guides to some of these more well-known items. And then when you flip it over to the back side, these come out as PDF, and so you can just print these off. They have a lot of really good ideas, or if you're looking for, oh, I've got beautiful sky tonight, what's out? And so if you're naked eye, it shows some really good things that you can see this time of year, things seen with binoculars. And so these are updated monthly, and then good telescope objects to find. And so to me, I really like their sky maps that they put out. The Spot the Station, they've made changes over the year, and so I've come to terms with that. I've started, I really like the fact that they've moved us to an app. I do miss being able to click here and just seeing it without pulling out my phone. But if you click on the Spot the Station link, it pulls you there. It also gives you where this space station's at. This was 4 o'clock our time, I think it was, that I pulled this picture, so you can see when I'm actually putting the slides together. Not too far before we go. But whenever, if you're wanting more information on, if there's going to be an ISS pass coming across Nashville where it's visible, if you've never seen the space station, it's big and bright and runs across the sky. If you get a really good pass, it sits in the sky for about 6 minutes going across the top. So it's really wild. It's like Venus moving across the sky. If you're interested in seeing when it's going to potentially come across Nashville or your sky, wherever you're at, they have a link to their apps. Here's the App Store. Here's Google Play, depending on your phone of choice. This is the Apple version of the Spot the Station. And so this is QR code for there. If you're Android, here's the QR code for there. And we could put these up in a little bit, but they're both called Spot the Station, and they're put out by NASA. What this looks like on the Apple on my iPhone today, 4:30 today, right? This is the home page. It comes up and shows you where it's at the current time. Shows you where you're at. And up here, this is changing month to month. How do I know? Because I take a screenshot every month, and this is different. They've put this button here. So now you know where to look for the upcoming sightings. And so this is my next upcoming good sighting. And what I mean by good sighting is when you click on that, it pulls this data up, right? And notice that, well, this is the upcoming regular sightings, but I have it filtered, right? So because I have horrible skyline, I have to have above a certain set of degrees. Normally I have this set to 30, but you can set it up to your parameters. The next upcoming one is December 18th, and I think it's only up for like 30 seconds, right? And for me, it's a little too quick for me, right? And it's 5:40 in the morning. And so I'm probably not going to get up for that one. However, here you can see one that's above the horizon for 4 minutes. Here you see one that's above the horizon for 5 minutes. And so you can get alerted for those. And so these will ding up on your phone. When it happens, it'll say ISS passing in 15 minutes. And so it gives you a 15-minute warning to find your skies. And then it'll say ISS is passing overhead. And then you run outside and drag your kids out and then run back inside. Make sure you wave, because I always do, because there are people up there. The other place that you can look at, since the Night Sky Network doesn't have a link to the actual physical data anymore of the times passing, I've started exploring heavens above. I have a feeling it's going to be a rabbit hole, kind of like Night Sky Network is now. But on here, it has a lot of really good data, again, where the space station is. Over here on the left, they have ISS interactive 3D visuals. They have ISS predictions and things like that. And when you look at the ISS predictions, it'll give you a little table. It looks something like this. These are the next two passings. They give you I think a 10-day window. I don't know if you can change that, but notice December 17th through December 27th. All right. And so this is how you can plan your next couple of days of looking for these. Right. So 17th of December, that's today, but it's UTC, I believe. And notice it tells you the altitude, where it starts at, how it finishes, where it gets peak in the sky, and the actual time. So
That's central time.
that is central time.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. When you click on the link, this tells you where it'll be. Right? Notice it'll be kind of shifting along here. So it's going to be sitting on the horizon. So probably not going to be worth me getting up for. But the Heavens Above website has a lot of really cool data. If you're interested in getting an ISS passing near one of your favorite stars, you can always try and keep an eye on how it's going, or when it passes a comet. So pretty cool stuff. All right. Almost finished up for my section. Previous events and outreach. Towards the end of the year, it gets a little cold. Weather hasn't been very fortuitous for us. We had a private star party scheduled for the 22nd of November. I don't know. I hadn't seen anybody post whether they made it or not out to the Natchez Trace. Shelby Bottoms, we did have. Steve, were you out there? Or?
I was not.
Theo, were you out at Shelby?
Yeah, because it's Thanksgiving week, everyone's gonna be there, so we.
Gotcha. So again, clouds this time of year don't help us out. Coming up, I think that shows up on our next page. December 19th, we have the winter solstice. So that's Friday. So again, if you're interested in that, be sure to check out their website or their Facebook page to sign up for attending the winter solstice. If you're planning on bringing a telescope, maybe post up on the Google group so we know you're there, or get in touch with Steve so we know to look for you. And then on the 20th, we have our next private star party at Water Valley Overlook. That's this Saturday. Sunsets at 4:35. And we do ask that you have a copy of the permit on you. We don't necessarily ask, but the park people ask that everybody out there has access to a permit. And so they know that you're supposed to be out there. if you do come in after sunset, be privy to the fact that other people may be imaging out there and keeping eyes nice and dark adapted. It isn't too much to get over, but it is, dim your headlights a little bit if you can to drive through safe. And then finally, we're all the way into next year. There may be pop-ups that show up between now and the next member meeting or the next private star party here. If you're interested in getting out and about or getting a group of people together, post in the groups. I'm sure there would be lots of people that would be interested in coming out and meeting up. And so again, pop-up events and outreach opportunities can typically be found on the Google groups. Okay. All right. That brings up next member meeting. Again, January 21st next year, Warner Nature Center, telescope workshop. Bring your scopes. So if you got a really awesome, good one from back here, or for Christmas, or you're like, I really need to get this one out of the closet and see if it works, bring it in. We'd love to see it. All right.
Also, can I add a thing on that? too?
Yep.
The timing, the times that we can use the nature center is a lot more flexible than here. So we actually don't need to be out by any certain time. So, if whenever we have telescope workshops or maybe star parties, we can actually stay quite late there. So we're just a lot more flexible.
Yeah. So there may be, as long as weather permits, we may be able to get out to see some stars and stuff. Any questions or other business to attend to?
I got a,
A foreground, a landscape for the nature center, for the grassy area there, that you go ahead, want to know when stuff gets over the building or over the hills,
Can you share that?
Those custom landscapes.
Can you share that on the groups?
Yeah.
Perfect. Steve, you said,
were you going to say anything about the January star party, the regular BSAS star party? I don't know if you had another slide or not.
no, that's it.
Okay, so I think it's the 27th. That was the last Saturday in January, I think.
Yeah, because oh yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and bring that up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so so the first BSAS.
Here, stand up, Steve.
The first BSAS public star party in January, which I think is the 27th, that's Saturday.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Dyer has reached out to us and said, well, since we're doing the remodel, it's gonna be closed for a couple of months. They want to keep the momentum up going with the venues. So they asked if they could partner with us on the star parties. And of course, we said, no, we're not really. So anyway, Dyer's gonna be partying with us. So they're going to advertise it on their socials, and they're going to put it on Eventbrite, which some of you guys may know they do Eventbrite to kind of manage the attendance of their meetings. So this means, it's just a great opportunity. It's a win-win to do some cross promotion and, tell your friends, tell all your family and stuff. And we're gonna have a lot of people out in January star party.
And if you like interacting with the public or want to see what a star party's like, you don't need necessarily to bring a scope. We're starting to run a welcome booth, welcome table. Gene, are you still kind of coordinating that?
And Donna.
Yeah, he and Donna. So even if you don't have a scope or you don't feel knowledgeable enough to talk to the public like me, I still don't consider myself knowledgeable enough. I'm like, hey, there's a moon, and look through my scope. I forgot to put a filter on, so I'm going to blind you. But it's a great way to interact with people and to share the love of the sky with the public.
When is that star party?
The 27th. It's
I think it's a Saturday. I think it's 27th.
Yeah. And so more information will come out about that here shortly. It'll be after the next member meeting. That's why I didn't make the slides this time around.
It might be the 24th.
One of those.
Yeah. Probably 24th.
24th. Good deal. The 24th.
It's not the last. I think it's 24th.
Good deal. All right. Any other business and whatnot before Theo comes us and tells us what's up? All right. Awesome. All right, Theo.
All right. Really want to encourage people to come out to star parties. You don't have to have a giant telescope. You don't have to have any telescope. People are happy if in between hopping and telescopes, you go, hey, look, there's the Big Dipper, and you point it out to them. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then the next month you can learn another constellation, and now you can do two. So this is gonna be like Mr. Rogers, right? It's hot. And take off our jacket and hang it up. I got this lovely sweater here last year. So that was fun. So yeah, go back and look at stuff on the table too. I won't take it personally. And the other great thing about this place versus being in the planetarium is I can have my cup of coffee here.
Yeah.
I told Chris McCall that the next time she builds a planetarium, we need a little coffee warmer right behind the console. Because, you know, when you work around electronics, the rule is no liquids ever, right, on the console. Just can't do it. So my coffee was always tucked in a corner on the floor. It was never warm by the time I got to it, but okay. This thing also has a laser. Which side is the, oh, good. All right, so what's up? What to see while you're looking up? Because you look up, right? That's like reflexive, that when you leave a building, you look up. That's the first thing you do. And I know from talking to people, especially astronomy people, that they do that. You do it in the daytime too, not just at night, okay? Here there were, it doesn't show up well on the screen, but there were some cool, really, really blue clouds in the north that night. They were noctilucent clouds. They glow electric blue just after sunset, and they're very cool. So you never know what you're going to see when you look up. So I like that. That work? All right, no, that's the wrong way. Woo. So at some point in my youth, I outgrew Barbies, okay? And I started asking for science toys. So I started out with a chemistry set. If you've never melted sulfur, I recommend it. Starts out yellow, then it goes orange and then into red. And so I understood when the pictures came back many years later of the moon of Jupiter, Io, it's covered with yellow and orange and red. It's all sulfur in all different melt states. That's pretty cool. I didn't blow anything up, so it was all good. They won't let kids do this sort of thing anymore. I had an awesome volcano in the 6th grade. You know, you make a volcano awesome besides the crappy paper mache. You put a candle in it, and then you put a funnel with some flour with a tube to the outside. You blow flour into the flame. Volcano. It's great. Yeah, no, they don't let kids do that stuff anymore. Darn shame, too. But then I said, okay, what about microscopes? And I looked at everything I could find under the microscope. You know, spider legs, whatever you can find laying around. That's pretty cool. But, oh, and then I had, anybody know what this is? Points if you know what that is. Oh, come on. Well, it could be, sort of. That's just a wire wrapped around a nut. When you hook the ends to a battery, right, it will hold the hinge up because it's now magnetic. Things you could build yourself. But it was the space age. You know, when I grew up, we were starting to go into space. The only thing they would drag a TV into a classroom for was something going on in space. So I begged and begged and begged and got this. So yeah, you don't need a ginormous telescope. This is a cute little Tasco. You can't do anything with it on that tripod, right? So I borrowed my dad's camera tripod and literally rubber banded that to the top of it. But it worked, sort of. And the skies were darker back then. Even though I was in a suburb of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I could still see a lot. So I had the little golden book of stars, and I learned my way around the sky. Astronomy, to me, is really unique because you can ask the darndest questions, really big questions. You know, from how far away are the stars? How far away are the galaxies? To how old is the universe? How much mass is actually in the entire, and you can get answers. They're ridiculous questions, and you can get answers to them. And all that information comes to us on thin beams of starlight. And that just fascinated me. And at the time, it was difficult for a lady to go into the astronaut side of life. So I went science. Now, back when I was younger, local newspaper ran an article about a new discovery where we had imaged the surface of a nearby star.
nearby in quotes. It's really huge, and that's why they could do it with some new technique called speckle interferometry. Well, newspapers, they didn't publish a lot of pictures back then. This wasn't a front page article. So I looked at it and they said, well, it was at Kitt Peak is where it was done. So, okay. And maybe I was a little cheeky even when I was 15. So I wrote a note to Kitt Peak Observatory and said, I read this really cool article. Where could I find the picture? Because we had no internet or anything like that. They were so sweet that to this day, because of that, I think, partly, but it's also a very cool star. But whenever anybody asks me, and little kids do, what's your favorite star? It's this guy, Betelgeuse. That was the first picture. They have better ones now, but it was light and dark. It wasn't all just one solid thing. So anyway, I really liked that. And I mean, it was really sweet of them. They wrote back a nice note, and this was an 8x10 glossy. So that was really nice. And I really appreciate that they took the time to do that. And in general, people in astronomy are kind of like that. They're nice folks. And astronomy clubs are full of nice folks because we all enjoy the hobby. And when you get enthusiastic about something, it's easy to share it. All right. So I thought we'd go around the sky and just sort of talk a little bit about what you can see in each season for 2026, why you want to look, and we'll start in the winter sky. So this is the sky for the middle of January. Sometimes it gets warm here in the middle of January. Oh, I see. Good. Thank you. Okay. So our front and center constellation here, of course, is Betelgeuse, or the star is Betelgeuse, but the constellation Orion. Orion is kind of fun because those stars are not that old, but they're big and massive, so they're not going to live long either. Betelgeuse is already a red giant, going to go supernova somewhere between tonight and maybe 500,000 years from now.
Set your watches.
Set your watches. It'll be so cool, though, because it's far enough away that it'll just be pretty. If it happens during the season when Orion is in the daytime sky, though, you'll be able to see it. We will have 2 stars in our daytime sky. If it happens when it's in the evening sky, you might be able to read the newspaper by the light of Betelgeuse. So it'll be really cool. Astronomers will love it because it's close enough to get just data from it. Good, clean fun.
Suntan time.
Yeah, maybe not a suntan, but. And that whole area is just full of cool stuff. So you can do a whole astronomy course with just the stars in this part of the sky. The winter sky has something like half of the first magnitude stars that we see. It's got a pile of bright stars. You're looking at an arm of the galaxy where there's a lot of star formation, just cool stuff. So there are very young stars, there are old stars, there are baby stars. The Orion Nebula, let's see if I can do this without changing the slide right here. Everybody likes to take pictures of it. It's a star nursery. And baby stars are kind of fun. People make fun of you when you kind of anthropomorphize them, right? But just like humans, baby stars like to throw tantrums. This is one of my very favorite Hubble pictures. This is a young star. It's still somewhere in this cloud of dust and gas, but it's shooting these beams out, letting you know that it's there. Someday it'll be a nice, big, happy star, blow away all that dust and gas, but right now it's just a baby star throwing a tantrum. The other thing that's a little bit of fun, I'm going to go back, I think, for a minute. One of the other bright stars in the sky here is Sirius. And this time of year, it rises not too far around sunset. So one of the cool things is, and we get phone calls sometimes about this, you go outside and you look at it, on a bad atmospheric night here in Nashville, it's twinkling like a fool. It will go through every color of the rainbow. And so people go, what is that thing that's flashing all these different colors? And you go, it's a star. That's just the air doing that, having a little bit of fun. But it has a white dwarf companion. White dwarf is what the sun will be some billions of years from now. It'll expand, become a red giant, Sadly, it'll never explode. It's not that big. But gradually it'll cool off and eventually it'll be a white dwarf after it loses layers of atmosphere and lots of other fun stuff. White dwarfs, they're not really dead, but they're not doing nuclear fusion anymore. They're hot simply because they're contracting. And Sirius has a white dwarf companion. It's a little bit of a challenge to find it though, because they're still pretty close as things go. But this is not a bad year if you want a fun challenge to go and see if you can split the two, because it's not too far off. There was its farthest point. So we're not too far along, just a few years past that farthest point. So you want to do it now. Don't wait for it to be too close. Separation is, let's see, that is a units there on the graph. So I think those are 1 arcsecond ticks. It's not huge. So the next picture there's the Hubble image of it. Of course, Sirius is really bright. If you can find a resource, I didn't see one just real fast, to tell you where exactly around, which direction you want to look, pushing Sirius slightly out of the picture would probably be really, really helpful. But it's right there, just looking cute. So there's just so much stuff in that area. You're not far from the Crab Nebula, which is a star that people on Earth saw explode, and now there's just this huge cloud of debris. There is so much to see that if I had the aliens came and had a working starship, I'd be like, we're heading that way, because there's a lot of cool stuff to see. So you can use Orion to find your way around the 3 belt stars, and a lot of people, that's all they know. Oh, Orion, that's those 3 stars. Well, that's his belt, right? Otherwise, he's got shoulders, legs, little shield out in front, because after all, Taurus the bull right here is charging right at him. So, come on, there we go. So you can go up to the angry red eye of the bull, Aldebaran. You can go down to Sirius. You can go right above him. Jupiter right now is sitting there right in the middle of Gemini, the twins. And if you want to remember which one's Pollux and which one's Castor, Castor is closer to the super bright star Capella, and Pollux is closer to Procyon, which is the bright star in the little dog. And if you can make a dog out of 2 stars, you're really good.
Hot dog.
It's a hot dog.
Yeah.
So little dog, big dog, bull. People had great imaginations. I'm gonna fill in some of that. Auriga the charioteer. I mean, seriously. For some reason, he's holding goats right here.
Be a little dog now.
There we go. Perseus, the hero of the story that involves himself, Andromeda, Pegasus, and Cassiopeia. Aries, the ram. All we ever see are these 3 stars, this cute little niche here. And so you can look at that and go, oh, there's Aries. At least most of these are real. The animals that are in the sky at the moment are mostly what I would call real animals. Some seasons, they're kind of different, right? They're not real animals. Pegasus is mostly upside down in our sky, and it's only really half a horse, half of a flying horse. The joke is always, this was a comic strip joke from years ago that Roy found. They said, when we find the rest of it, we'll name it after you. Okay, we'll hear some laughs after a while. For a short while, we've got Saturn and Jupiter in the sky. Jupiter you can easily recognize because it's stupid bright, except it's not Venus, which is brighter and not out at the hour that Jupiter is. Saturn, you just have to know that that brightest thing in this otherwise kind of blank space here, that's a planet. Of course, if you get a telescope out and look at it, oh, hey, those cool little rings. And they're opening up ever so slightly this year. So that's pretty cool. But I like to tell people that 99% of the observing that you will ever do, you do with your eyes. Because, yeah, we get out telescopes, but not nearly as often as we simply walk outside. And this time of year, It's fun to walk out and see the winter sky because it gets dark early, right? You don't have to stay up late. And of course, if you want to chase the deep sky stuff, this part of the sky has got a fair bit of things. And you notice it's all kind of in a line, more or less. When we think of the Milky Way, we think of the summer sky. But this is the winter Milky Way. In the summer, we're facing toward the center of the galaxy. So you got all that bright stuff. This is fainter, but you're looking at the arm that wraps around on the outside of us. So we're looking out of the galaxy through a lot fewer stars. But it's still the disk of our galaxy right here, and that's why all those clusters are here. There's also a cool little constellation. One of the other questions we would get, is there a pony in the sky? Oh, before that, I guess the next picture, hang on. If you want to know how much dust and stuff that you don't see, that's Orion. And now you can see all the nebulosity. This is why there's a lot of star formation. There's a ton of dust. And this guy takes really good pictures of it.
It's pretty cool, head to toes.
Yeah, head to toes. So there's this kind of blank, for us anyway, area between the big and little dogs and running up to the side of Orion. And if you got a good sky, you might find a few faint stars that you could connect. That really doesn't do anything for me. But the name of the constellation is Monoceros, which is just a fancy way of saying one horn. Okay. Whoops. Let me get back to that. That's a unicorn. That's a pony. A little different than a flying horse. But all right, we'll take it. If we look north instead of south, you have our classic circumpolar constellations. The Big Dipper is right here. And then, of course, the lines draw in the rest of the bear, right? So he's got a head, some front feet, back paws. The Little Dipper, which for us is mostly imaginary, right? We can see Polaris, these two stars. The rest of it's just not usually there. If you can see the entire Little Dipper, you're under a good sky. And then winding between them and out is Draco, one of our favorite Harry Potter constellations. I also have this star marked in the kink there between the dippers. That's Thuban. Time was 4,000 years ago, that was the North Star. So that gives you some idea of how far the North Pole, where we point in space, has wandered over time. It describes a huge circle in the sky, just like a top. When you spin a top, it stands up for a little while, but then it starts doing this cute little wobble thing. Well, the Earth does the cute little wobble thing, and it takes 10,000 some years to go all the way around the circle. But it so happens that right now, we point really, really, really close to Polaris, which is really, really useful when you're trying to polarize a scope. There's some artwork. You ever seen a bear with a tail that long? Two different ideas about why those bears have long tails, but bears today have short, stubby tails. You know, one, if you're from the North Country, there were stories about the bears using their tails for ice fishing and maybe waiting a little too long and the hole froze shut and then they had to get out and lost their tail. The other had to do with somebody catching one of the bears and was angry or something. Anyway, started twirling it. And when they let go and threw him up in the sky, well, the tail stayed behind. So bears used to maybe have long tails and now they have short, stubby ones. All right. Now we're in April. We're in the spring sky. And this is kind of the dull, boring part of the year. So I had to really amp up the names to get all these dim stars. But the one star that does shine out, and the one constellation that, again, is kind of the anchor constellation for the spring sky, is our buddy Leo. Nice little head, mane. There's a 4 foot here. body, back to the tail. But if you don't like lions, this could be a pointy head and a body and a little curly tail. It could be a mouse. So in the same group of stars, you can have both cat and mouse. So that really stands out. It's an easy star. Even in Nashville skies, you can find Leo the lion pretty easily. And again, start leveraging that to find other things in your sky. I clicked on Corcoroli, so I got Canis venentis, the hunting dogs back here. All right, I don't know why they drew this. That's like that. What is that? That's an angle iron, or or a square to use for drawing. I don't know. And it has nothing to do with
Boomerang.
right, a boomerang. That is the only constellation that's named for a historical person. That's Coma Berenice's hair. And the story was that for various reasons, she sacrificed her long tresses as a gift to the gods, as a votive offering. So there they are up in the sky. But I definitely wouldn't have connected the dots like that. If you get out a pair of binoculars, what you do see behind the lion is this cute little tiny group of dim stars, but they look just like the Eiffel Tower. And that's how you know you're there. Some more dim stars and one lovely bright one down here, Spica. That's a large constellation, but it's made of kind of dim stars. That's Virgo. And the cool thing about the spring sky is that because the Milky Way really is out of the picture, you are looking now out of the galaxy at right angles. So you get to see other people's galaxies. So this is a picture of part of the Coma cluster. Outside of these guys with spikes on them, pretty much everything else in that image is a galaxy. Big, huge groups of galaxies, far, far away. There's another image there of, from Stellarium of galaxies, lots of galaxies. I want to go look at this one because I want to know what the blow dryer galaxy, who gave it that name? And some of them are Messier objects and some are not. And so if you ever do a Messier marathon where you're trying to go around the sky and find all the Messier objects, this part of the sky is really hard because there are Messier objects that are faint fuzzies and they're in between a whole lot of other faint fuzzies. So trying to get the identification is fun and a challenge. All right, so then we have this like choo-choo train of little tiny stars. Looks like a big snake. It's a big serpent. So we've got that. Hydra. And move the sky just a little bit here to get in Arcturus. So there's Spica. I didn't quite get enough to get the Big Dipper in, did I? Oh, oh, it's up there. There it is.
Theo, the blow dryer galaxy is M100.
Okay. What does it look like? Why is it called the? Oh, I'll find that out later.
Yeah, nothing really good about it.
So
Maybe you had to do Coma's hair,
maybe.
or Missy's hair.
That was for the lady's hair, the tresses that she
Mhm.
gave to the gods.
Yeah.
They needed to do something with it.
Do something with it. So you find the Big Dipper, and in the spring, the Big Dipper is high in the sky. It's finally crawling up, like here in the winter, it's just coming up off the horizon. By the time the spring sky is up, it's nice and high. You find the handle has an arc, you arc to Arcturus, and then you spike onto Spica. That's how you find those guys. Arcturus is supposed to be a shepherd or a herdsman. Okay, but a kite comes to mind. And the other thing that comes to mind, it's high in the sky in the summer months. And so to me, you can make an ice cream cone out of this, right? Well, an ice cream cone. And this group of stars here, which is the Northern Crown, Corona Borealis, that's the scoop that fell off. That's actually Not super easy to see. Some clear nights you can see a couple of them, but you can see, oh, I'm gonna go the wrong way, aren't I? Yep. You can see Arcturus, you can see Izar here and Alphecca. If you see anything else bright right here,
Call us.
that's gonna be that star that we've been waiting to explode forever. T Corona Borealis. They thought it would explode last spring. Waiting. So maybe this year, who knows? All right, and there's the pictures to go with some of that. And the spring is when you do a Messier marathon, which is the attempt to see all of the Messier objects in one night. That's really hard, but it's fun exercise, and you will A, learn your telescope really well by the end of the night. B, have a lot of fun, and C, have a great leg up on getting your Messier list completed. So here's where they all are along the sky. And in the spring, there's this window, because they're not uniformly distributed, where you can start on one end of the sky and catch the first couple in the fading rays of sunlight. And you go all the way across the sky until the dawn hits. And for an idea of what one club does to navigate that, here's your path. So if you put them in the list, probably in right ascension order, that's what you're going to get. All right. Now we're in mid-July. It's hot, it's humid, but we're looking at the Milky Way. Or I hope we're looking at the Milky Way anyway. It's a challenge here in the city to see the Milky Way from most of Nashville. I had somebody that worked at the Science Center that said they didn't know you could visually see the Milky Way. You need to get out of town once in a while. It's very, very bright because we're looking at the very center of our galaxy. Oh, I'm going to pitch the wrong button again. Back. There we go. Somewhere right here above the teapot, which will light up. Right there is a big stinking black hole at the very center of our galaxy. But it's 25,000 light years away, so we're good. Lots of bright stars, including two of my favorably named stars. So the planetarium community would have a little bit of fun. They'd have a competition at conferences where you'd be in the dome and they would slowly rotate the sky and you had to name something. And you couldn't repeat, right? So we would go around and you would name something, a star, a constellation, an asterism, whatever. So people would spend some time memorizing star names. Zubin el-Shimali and Zubin el-Janubi. I mean, what's not to like, okay? They're invisible from here most of the time, but that's okay. So the anchor constellation for July is our buddy Scorpius. He actually does look, I think, a little bit like what he's imagined to be, a scorpion up there in the sky. Although places that didn't have scorpions, but did do a lot of fishing, saw it as a fishhook. Next to the scorpion, I really don't like the way they connect all the lines, but this right here, most of us can find this guy. It looks like a teapot. And it works good because the steam is coming out of the teapot, right? But technically it's a Centaur Archer, okay? So Sagittarius is there. Lots.
That's what it looks like.
Right. I mean, when I look up in the sky, that's totally what I see. I don't know. Maybe it's just, it was a long time ago. I don't know. So my favorite named stars over there are part of an invisible constellation, but it's one of the zodiac constellations. It's Libra the Scales. Of course it is.
And Zubin el, what were they?
Zubin el-Shimali and Zubin el-Janubi.
Those names are for upper and lower claw, right?
No,
For the scorpion, once
Nope.
upon a time,
this-
in that the translation?
nope, those are not part of,
No, they're not now.
oh, but you
weren't
think they were.
Weren't they the claws of
I
Scorpio?
can't tell you that, but
Once
we'll
upon a
have to look that up. And see that? You can never know everything. Every season needs a hero. Orion is not in the summer sky, right? Story goes that Orion was a really good hunter. He was kind of boastful. Gods frown on that. So he boasted that no animal could kill him. Well, they sent the scorpion, stung him on the heel, killed him, and they felt bad about that. So they put them both in the night sky, but at opposite ends so that the mighty hunter never has to look at that pesky scorpion. But we still have a hero in the sky in the summer, and that would be our good buddy, Hercules. They always draw him upside down for me. I see this as his waist and these as his shoulders, but I don't know. They always draw it on the pictures the upside down way.
Just for a quick one, Zubin movie was translated as the Southern Claw.
There we
The
go.
other one is the Northern Claw.
So Scorpius was even bigger back in the day. Cool. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of cool dark sky objects, some of which, or deep sky objects, some of which are visible to your eyeball, and even better in binoculars. So you can just take binoculars and run through the Milky Way, especially if, I hate to keep repeating, if you're out somewhere dark, it's really fun to just take binoculars and just peruse the Milky Way. Because you can see a lot, especially the big open clusters, the great big, like Lagoon Nebula. There's a lot that you can see.
I have no idea why you want to move to New Mexico.
I have no idea why I wanted to move to Mexico.
Good, sure.
Couldn't get to Chile, yep.
It's a long drive.
Long drive. In the northern sky in the summer, we've got these three stars that form the summer triangle. They're actually close enough to the pole that they're up from late spring through late fall. But in the summer, it's nice and high. And the cool thing about finding the summer triangle is that you found three different constellations thereby. So you've got the tail, the head, the wide wings of Cygnus the swan. That's another bird here. This is, believe it or not, an eagle. This one, I used to run a "What do you see in that group of stars" contest, and lots of different things people will see in that group of stars. Not too many of us would see what it was named classically, which is Lyra the harp. But two birds and a harp right up there in the night sky. And the swan is flying right up through the Milky Way. So it's the northern sky has a lot of cool stuff in it too. There's our classic, again, circumpolar constellations. They just rotate around all year. That's Cepheus, who's the king in the story that involves Cassiopeia the queen. Most people think of this as a house, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, you see the house.
And the Little Dipper there, growing up in West Nashville, I always saw the Little Dipper. The Big Dipper and the Little Dipper.
Yeah.
And from not that far out, just Charlotte Park area out there, I could see the Milky Way.
Yep. And there's no reason.
60s,
Yeah, there's no reason, absolutely no reason why we can't still do that. All the light that goes up, right, is wasted. It's not doing a darn thing for anybody's safety or vision or anything. It's going up into the sky. It's just wasted. We're just lazy. That's really the only thing I can tell you is that we're stupid lazy. We don't point the lights down. And that's a fixable problem.
You keep too many lights on at night.
And, what did your grandmother say when you left a room at night?
No.
Turn off the lights. If you start thinking about outdoors as a big room, when you leave it, turn off the lights. There's an entire ecosystem of animals out there and plants that will say thank you. Yeah. All right, so now we're in October. We've still kind of got the Milky Way hanging on early in the evening. There's not a lot of bright stars, especially, whoops, not there. Oh. Over here. The bright guys are over here and going down. There's one lonely star, because all this stuff is really dim. Fomalhaut. So if you're out in the evening, in the fall, you look around, you go, well, that's got to be Fomalhaut, because it's there all by itself. My favorite, though, anchor constellation for this season is Pegasus. He's nice and high. It's the big square, is easy to find. So there's my favorite flying upside down horse. Half an upside down flying horse. He would have back legs, but somebody decided to make that into the constellation Andromeda. They actually share this corner star, Alpheratz, which if you own a telescope that asks you for alignment stars, that's a really popular one that the telescope will say, point the telescope to Alpheratz. That's a useful one to know. That's a cool name too. There's a nice star cluster right off the horse's nose in this general area. There's a lot of cool stuff. Every year, every part of the year has cool stuff. So yeah, here's the back end of the horse, or Andromeda. And there's, you know, the early winter stars starting to peek in the fall. So the first thing you start seeing is the ram again, Aries. Some of these dim guys. This one here is Capricorn, the sea goat. I don't know what a sea goat is. And I question why anybody thought to draw that there, but okay. I've actually seen these stars connected more like this. And I think of that, I think it looks like the Joker's smile, but okay. And this is Cetus, that's a whale, sort of, or some kind of sea creature. Yeah, let's see. Yep.
It's like a chemical
Oh, I
structure.
went the wrong way. Okay. Another invisible constellation is Aquarius, the water bearer. But Fomalhaut is part of Pisces Australis. I think that's correct. The southern fish. Okay.
Has there ever been a serious attempt, I've never heard of it, but a serious attempt to rename the constellations to things that make more sense to us? Is that a
I mean,
sacrilegious thing, but make more sense to modern day
So
ideas?
some constellations are really, really old. The Egyptians drew Scorpius on in their stuff, you know, that was old.
But don't people have different names for them in different
Around the world, because what did you do at night, right?
Yeah.
You sat around and you looked up, and there's the world's biggest dot-to-dot puzzle. So everybody drew pictures and told stories. That's what you did at night. If we were going to rename some, and of course I would get called out as woke or something, but when Europeans went to the Southern Hemisphere, did they ask somebody, what do you guys draw up in the sky? No. So the sailors made up constellations, and they're kind of boring. There's horologium, the clock. Okay, come on. You know, there's the ship's keel, the table.
Microscope.
In other words, mostly men.
Shouldn't have asked me that. So over the years, what eventually happened is, starting with about Ptolemy and then continuing when the Dark Ages hit Europe, the Arabs took over a lot of the science type things and carried it forward. That's why so many of the stars are Al something. They're Arabic names. And they made some of the earliest star charts. Well, once it got written down on paper, everybody started, at least everybody in the northern hemisphere area, started using those names. Later, people said, well, we need to divide up the sky so that we know what we're talking about. So then when we point to an area of sky, you can say, okay, this is definitely in this constellation. So the international folks, and it's not been that long, divided up the sky into 88, thank you, 88 constellations that everybody uses. But there's nothing really special about that. And it is fun to go and see what other people drew. Down in the southern hemisphere, some of them said, you know what? We don't see shapes in the stars. We see stuff in the dark spaces between the stars. So there's a lot of different ways of looking at the sky.
All these books are reading. You can say-
And honestly, if you want to go out and connect the stars in your own way so that it makes sense to you, go for it. The only real reason to have official and names and boxes is so that everybody kind of knows or agrees on what part of the sky you're talking about. That's it. And that's almost gone because now we use usually just their coordinates anyway. So draw your own pictures. And if you want a star to call your own star, pick it out yourself, okay? If you ask those people that sell star names to send one to you, first I'll be angry. But second, they will send you a 12th magnitude star that you can no way see with your eye. So don't do that. But yeah, there's not a good reason for why we couldn't make up different constellations.
Isn't the Big Dipper, named after America or something, or a US invention, right?
It's fairly new. In England, it was typically called the plow. It's been all sorts of things.
Gourd.
Yeah.
It was in-
It can be a gourd, it can be a plow, it can be just about anything. For whatever reason, Orion really tickled most people as a human being up there in the sky. So it was Osiris, it was Long Sash, because yeah, he's got that belt hanging down, right? Lots of different things. And if I had a good graphic, well, we used to make fun of him because he's got kind of a tiny little head, right? So he's got narrow waist, broad shoulders, like a football player, and a tiny little head. But anyway, but this is Nashville. He could be Elvis. The same way with a lot of the names that we've given, or that some people gave to these different clouds of gas or star clusters. Somebody looked at it and they said, that looks like a bunch of ducks flying. So it's a wild duck cluster. Well, I look at it and I typically never see wild ducks, but okay. So yeah, feel free to rename stuff for your own personal use. And it's just fine. We used to encourage kids to do some of that in the dome, and the teachers would get angry and say, we want them to learn the real constellations. Well, yeah. But again, the fall sky's got a lot of fun stuff. The most fun thing, and there we go, find Andromeda. So there's the Andromeda galaxy. Now on the other side of the bright star that's kind of next to it there's the Triangulum galaxy. This one is not too hard to show. Even in our star parties, we'll have somebody with a big enough scope to do a decent job with it. The Triangulum galaxy, though, is a face-on spiral, and it disappears into the background in a lot of our skies. We've had the 20-inch job on that, and you couldn't see it. Just vanished. I've had people tell me they've seen it with their eyeball. I don't believe it, but okay. And let's see. Look over here. That's fall. Okay, fall looking north. So there's where our circumpolar group is. You have to have a really good horizon in October to see the Big Dipper because it is just sliding right along the horizon. For me, it's, in the trees. But, and that's what we often use to find Polaris, right? You find the pointer stars here at the end of the bowl, but they're in the trees. So instead, we kind of try to use Cassiopeia here, because you can make a little arrow kind of out of that, and it sort of will get you in the right direction. So that'll work. All right. What was I doing here? Oh, I know what I'm doing here. I have to remember what I did at the wee hours in the morning the other night. So let's see. Here's the summer triangle again. There's Vega, Altair, and Deneb. Here along this side of the summer triangle, there's this really cute little diamond with a little trail coming out of it. And there's this guy. And when you, again, binoculars are kind of fun with these. So this is the dolphin. Okay. And this is an arrow. Okay, I can do that. And if you have a pair of binoculars, and again, you start with the beak of the swan here, Alberio, maybe head towards Altair, you're going to run across in a binocular field this really cute group of stars. They're not physically connected to each other. It's just a chance alignment. But the common name for that is the coat hanger. Because, yeah, it's a coat hanger right up there in the sky. Such a nice straight line and this cute little curve. And it's best in binoculars because a telescope has too small a field of view. It doesn't look nearly as cool. So you notice we've been walking around the night sky and we haven't hardly, except for saying, yeah, you could get out your telescope and look at these cool things, but we've done a lot without a telescope. And again, I really want to encourage people to get out. You know, again, we have nice clear nights early on. Take a walk. Annoy your neighbors because everybody's got ring phones now, doorbells now, right? And they're looking out. There's people walking out in the street. So annoy your neighbors and look up, right? Last time I went out, it was stupidly cold over the weekend. I'm trying to get my steps in for the evening. And I'm trying to walk and look up for meteors at the same time, which is not easy. So, and you see things when you look up. You know, sometimes there's just something cool. The moon's up and maybe it's nearly full and you get the whole circle around the moon in the high, thin clouds. Whenever there's high, thin clouds, day or night, you should need to go out and look for that. In the daytime, it looks really cool to see a sun halo. Moon will do the same thing when it's close to full. Sorry about that. You caught mine. And always look up. There's always cool things to see. All right. Those are my favorites. Other cool stuff. Ephemera, things that don't come every year. Comets. I love comets. David Levy likes comets. He said they're like cats, right? They have tails and they do whatever they want. This is a wonderful website, and I have a sheet here on the front table that lists a bunch of cool websites, and this is included. Weekly information about bright comets. Soichi Yoshide does a great job. So you can look and see what's up, and he always starts at the top of the list with the brightest thing that's in the current sky. So you can find out what comets you can see. And he gives nice finder charts. So I've decided that I'm going to go chase this guy here, 24P. Because I haven't photographed that one. So, okay, we're going to do that. So here's a finder chart for it. Now you have to be a little bit smart. Somebody copied one of his charts without attribution one time and was talking about how you could see this thing in Leo, not this particular comet, but it was another one going through Leo at a time when Leo was in the daytime sky. So bad person at JPL. So you have to kind of know where you are in the year and where those constellations might be in the sky. And Leo right now, okay, it's a spring constellation. This isn't spring yet, so it'll be up in the wee hours of the morning. But that's okay. Comets are kind of like that too. But he'll tell you what dates and you can see where it's moving and kind of plan when you might want to go look at it. And he has these great charts. These are not as blown out. When people talk about comets, they get all excited. Oh, this is going to be a great blowing your eyes out, naked eye comet. This guy has graphs that are realistic, and his buddies tell him things so that they start ground truthing what that curve is actually doing. Every now and then when we get one that hits perihelion and it's getting shredded by the sun, you can see that. You can start seeing these dots just fall right off the curve and you go, that's a dead comet. So this is really useful because, you know, you get an honest opinion of what the actual magnitude is. And then he has this really cute chart where he arranges what's up in the sky, which comets are there by a time of day. So evening, midnight, and morning. And so right now, this guy is a midnight comet, magnitude 8. That's not visual, but that's an easy reach for a camera. And maybe even a camera with just on a tripod, just a longer exposure to get to magnitude 8 is not that hard to reach with a camera. It's always more fun with a telescope, but okay. So anyway, this is just a super useful thing if you get interested in chasing comets. And he will add them because every year there are brand new comets that come by. And so he'll add those when they come in too. You can also see, this is a really, really cool website. JPL Small Body Lookup. You put in the name of the thing you're looking at, and it will give you a cool diagram that shows the orbit of the thing. So here's that comet. And I'm zoomed in to where I'm looking at, there's the orbit of Mars, there's Earth. And when the lines are going down like this, that's when it's below the ecliptic, and then it rises above the ecliptic. Well, comets tend to have really elliptical orbits. They come in at all different angles, so it's really fun to see it like this. And you can run it, you can tip this all sorts of ways. You can zoom in, zoom out, run the speed so you can actually watch it go flying by. But you can see that this is not, that's why it's Mag 8 right now. It's not super far away. So this is a really fun tool to see where things are relative to us in three-dimensional space. And if you want a lot of fun, run this with the asteroid Apophis for April 13th, 2029. And if you run it at this scale, it looks like it's impacting Earth. It will.
With the planets.
Yeah, they move too. So you can watch, you can watch everybody rotate. And here comes the comet or asteroid or whatever small body you're interested in. So it's that's a fun tool. And it'll tell you right now, so here in the corner, it tells you that the Earth distance is only 0.4 astronomical units. That's close in astronomy, right? The sun distance is 1.3 astronomical units, so it's just a little further out than we are. So, you know, that's a lot of fun. There is some really cool stuff on the internet.
What was the site called?
This site is called the JPL Small Body Lookup. And yeah, that's on my list of fun resources. I haven't figured out a good way yet to do a movie, you know, to make it move and get a nice screenshot for that. And here it is. This is the end of the year. So here's New Year's Eve. What else would you be doing on New Year's Eve? Here's the comet down here. You remember that Virgo cluster? Oh yeah. So if you had a wide field of view, I think this is like 4 degrees, you would have this comet and a whole pile of galaxies too. Somebody will go for that shot. I guarantee you somebody's going to take that picture. I got a few people go, oh no, I'm a purist. I like the comet with nothing else in the picture. Yeah, I'm not like that. I think it's kind of fun when they go past something cool. So this would be a fun shot, even if you can't get the whole 4 degrees, because you might have to mosaic. I have 2 degrees of width with one of my refractors, so but you know, anyway, that's going to be if it's clear, I might be tempted, right? Meteors. I had my preacher ask me the other day if I was going to go out and look at the Geminids. I go, no, it's going to be 10 degrees outside. Are you crazy? Well, they were talking about 150 an hour. I go, Fake news. True, there probably are that many. Most of them, if you have a radio that's tuned to an appropriate frequency, you can actually hear them because they ionize the atmosphere as they come in, and they can make noise on a radio receiver of appropriate kind. I'm sure there are that many. We just don't see them. And again, here in Nashville, you only see some, but the Geminids True, I think, is the best shower for us of the year because it's, if it is clear, it is cold, the air is dry, and it's pretty transparent. So it's pretty good. I went walking. It's really hard to look up and walk at the same time, but I saw two in, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever. That's not too bad, really. I couldn't keep looking up and trying to, you're trying to look at an area of sky and just kind of unfocus your eyes and look for that. It's like the peripheral vision test at the eye doctors, right? You're looking for something that's just going to move real fast across part of your field of vision. But they are fun. And there is an Astronomical League award if you observe a couple meteor showers and write down how many you see and, keep track of that. So there is some fun. Arguably the Perseids, it's nice and warm in August. But this site, though, also, if you see a bright fireball and you're interested in, did anybody else see that? Is that what I saw? They take reports from people all over the country. So there's a part of the website that shows you who reported seeing a fireball, and that's very, very cool. We also have, kind of locally, NASA's got a fireball network. They have all sky cameras that look up and record fireballs, and there is some down in, not Murphy's, but Shelbyville has one, has a camera. There's a couple of them sprinkled around this general area. So if you wonder, did I see a fireball that was a meteor, you can go check you have to remember now the times are in Greenwich Mean, so you have to, do a little bit of work there, but you can go see what they caught and see if the camera saw what you saw. So, every now and then, some of the weather people will poke us and say, hey, people are telling us they saw this. And you can go look and go, well, yeah, that was a meteor. And the meteor people will even sometimes calculate how high it was, what direction it came in at. Was it part of a shower that's going on? So those are and again, you're just looking up. Now
I think Dyer has an all sky
they do.
camera. I don't know if they posted it or not.
I don't think so, but I have poked one, if somebody calls me and says this, I poked him, and Mark Manor also had one for a long time out at his place and say, hey, did you happen to see anything on your camera last night? So
I've seen their all sky camera, the Aurora.
Yeah.
well, yeah, if you're gonna, that's a great excuse for an all sky camera right there. Again, these are ephemeral things. I have really bad luck. For whatever reason, my third child he gets out of the car and looks up and goes, oh, there's a satellite. Oh, there's another one. He's phenomenally good at seeing moving dim things. And so I'll be looking at him and talking in the dark. And I literally one time saw me reflected in his glasses. And he's like, oh, that was really nice. I'm like, ah. But looking up is really cool. You're never, ever, ever sorry about it. We have a lunar eclipse. Whoops. Oh, that's the rest of the year there. Perseids and Leonids. Yeah. Whoops. Back. March. For us, it happens at moonset, a lot of it. So that means we're talking about the wee hours of the morning before sunrise. Sorry. We probably will not. Somebody will ask us, are you guys going to have a star party for this? No. One thing, if we scheduled it, it would be cloudy. Yeah, March is not the best time for that, but if it's clear, what you should do is set the alarm, go out, look at it, say very nice, and then go back to bed, right? Because they're not like solar eclipses where there's just that, 1 minute of totality thing. Here you got like an hour. So you go out, appreciate it, and if you really want to watch it, I don't think we get to see quite all, well, maybe we'll get close. U3, where it starts to come out of totality. Here's eclipse at moonset, so it won't be all the way Well, maybe it will be. It'll be close. You have to have a good flat horizon. But wee hours in the morning, sorry. So I wanted to show because, yeah, I've said about dark skies a few times. So Roy and I have a place now in New Mexico. Everybody's welcome to come visit. This is a 5-minute exposure with a 24mm lens. Just 5 minutes. And that's why I did the Star Trail picture. I took like a couple hours worth of these. So if you want to know how that compares to my backyard here in Nashville, oops, this. Now it's fun. I really thought I might not be able to see the stars at all.
This is 5 minutes as well.
There's a satellite trail, I think, right here.
5 minutes.
But 5 minutes, same exact settings. So that's the difference between the skies. And again, every bit of that light is doing nothing useful for anybody. All it's doing is annoying me. It's annoying all the night creatures. A good current angle, because I couldn't ask people to turn off their lights just because I want to be out with a telescope, right? That's asking a lot, sort of, for a small group of people. But as it turns out, one, it's bad for our health to be not dark at night. It's bad for the environment at night. And there is a whole ecosystem that goes on at night that we ignore because we're not nocturnal creatures. We push it, we try to be, but we're not. Birds, in particular, migrate at night. That way they can cruise along, they're not being pestered by predators, and a lot of them use the stars to navigate. They're going thousands of miles. So in May and again in September, there are often hundreds of millions of birds passing overhead. Cornell has a really cool website where you can go and look at, they call it Birdcast. You can go and look at how many birds are passing through the flyways at night. And we are completely ignorant of that. So here they are trying to use the light above them to navigate, and here's all this light below them. It's confusing. They end up getting kind of attracted, almost like moths. They end up in the cities, and then they end up hitting buildings. There was a good story from a building in Chicago where people went in the morning and picked up over 1,000 dead birds from the base of the building. Over time, it's a lot. Building collisions are second only to cats for killing birds. So if you did it at no other time of the year, turning off the lights in May and September is a huge help for the birds. And for whatever reason, that resonates with people. Oh, we shouldn't be killing birds. That's bad. Yes. Other animals that make their living at night. Now, a lot of us have heard about the sea turtles on the coast. They come in to lay eggs at night. So a lot of coastal areas have lighting restrictions. We don't have anything that's nearly that cute. Okay, we have possums, skunks, bats. It was a little harder to work up kind of that same feeling for them, but they're out there trying to make a living, and we're lighting up the day. We're actually changing the behavior. Coyotes used to be mostly nocturnal. They're shifting their behavior because it's never night. So that's not really what you want. You really don't want things being pushed into unnatural places in their ecosystem. Insects, a lot of them, moths a lot pollinate at night. So they're plants that are dependent upon the moths. Mayflies, everybody's seen mayflies, right? There's an amazing number of them. They pile up on the corners all dead. They like to lay their eggs at night on water. And the way they know it's water is because it reflects polarized light. Weirdly, so does asphalt. So there are pictures of literally foot-deep piles of mayflies underneath lights on asphalt. They thought it was water, it was not. So apart from, ew, that's a lot of dead mayflies, that's a lot of mayflies that didn't feed fish, that didn't feed other amphibians. It's just an interruption in the whole cycle of life that's totally and completely unnecessary. So at night, if you need light, that's cool. We don't want anybody tripping and falling in the dark. But use it when you need it. Use only as much as you need. Point it down, right? Keep it directed. Use the lowest color temperature you can get away with. We're all, I think, now familiar with how annoying stupid bright blue LEDs are. So use a nice cool yellow to orange color. And then when you're done, turn it off. It's really, that would solve a huge number of our problems. Tucson, Arizona has 1 million people in their metropolitan statistical area. You can see the Milky Way from suburban Tucson. Okay, we have 2 million people, but we're pretty sprawled out. It's a little harder, I think, to make that big an impact here because even if there were no artificial lights here, we have humidity and other things that bounce a lot of light around. But still, we could do a lot better than we do. So if anybody here belong to IDA, the Dark Sky Association, yay. So we're trying to restart a chapter here. Joe Boyd used to run one. Joe's still with us. I don't think he's online, but anyway, that group aged out. So we're trying to get it started back again so that we can have a concerted group effort to work on things here in the Tennessee area. There are a few places in Tennessee that are still somewhat dark. Go to Pickett State Park sometime. Natchez Trace State Park is not too bad. There are a few of them. Fall Creek Falls is really not that bad. I haven't been there since they rebuilt the inn to see how the lighting is now. There are places that aren't too bad or could do better if they just tried a little harder. And again, I'd really like to invite you to enjoy interacting sometimes with the public. You know why? Because because kids are so much fun. It's fun to pass on to them that enthusiasm. Kids love 2 things in science: dinosaurs and space. I don't have dinosaurs, and I'm not sure why you like something that would eat you, but we can give them space, and we can. That interest isn't just everybody can't grow up to be an astronomer, right? There's no jobs, but that interest in science, the natural world, informs your outlook. People who became doctors, engineers, all sorts of professions will tell you that they got interested in the sciences because they looked up at the night sky. So it's a huge thing to do. It's an easy thing to do, and it's a fun thing to do. I mean, a lot of times when we have a star party, okay, it's late, I'm grumbling, I'm tired, I don't really want to go. But once I go, I'm having a ton of fun talking to people. The kids, when they come up to a telescope and they look at the moon, right? I'm not looking at anything complicated. I'm looking at the moon. And they put their eye to the eyepiece and they go, whoa. I go, correct answer. And that's something they've never seen before. And it's really cool. And again, it gets that spark going. So I want to encourage everybody, come on out. You'll have fun. I promise you, you'll have fun. You don't have to know a whole lot, because what's going to happen is you're going to learn one constellation every quarter of the year. Then you'll learn another one. And they come around every year. So it's so much fun to learn about. It's easy and it's free. You don't, well, okay, there's that stuff in the back that, and don't look in my garage. But you can get started for free, just using the 2 telescopes we all come with, our eyes, and enjoy the night sky. And come visit us under some really stinking dark skies. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a great evening. Right on.
As with all good things,
Yep.
the first one's free, and then it starts collecting the money, right? Binoculars, then
Somebody please take home that Dob back there with the homemade mount, because it's been in my garage for a long time. You know, give us donation to the club, okay? But take it home. Thank you.
all right. Well, first off, thank you, Theo. I definitely gonna miss you. I'm sure you'll pop in online and all that fun stuff like that as you're gone. Just a reminder, the next member meeting is going to be at the Warner Nature Center. If you, it'll be January 21st. I'm sure more posts will show up on Google Groups as well as through Night Sky Network as we get closer to that. If you have questions regarding that or how to get there and stuff like that, just reach out to us. Bring your scopes, whatever you get through the holidays, or if you're just trying to get something up and going. And then finally, have a Merry Christmas and fantastic holiday season. It is, yeah, it's supposed to be a warmish winter or warmish Christmas as compared to what it's been the last couple days. I don't know what that means for our skies, but whatever you do, have a safe one. We'll give it another 10 minutes. Does that work?
Yep.
We'll shut the auction down at 9:45 because I'm sure Dyer wants to shut down pretty soon here as well. So go back, take a look, maybe grab some sweets because I know those are back there as well.
Take your food. Take your food.
And if you're taking off and I don't see you, have happy holidays and be safe. Thanks, everybody. How do we get the lights back?
We would love it if all the stuff was gone, so please, if anybody's interested in anything, please let us know. Any kind of offer donation, would be appreciated. Also, the scope is going to be open upstairs.
That way, everybody, because it's a good group, good thing. We should have like, I feel like whatever iteration the next web page has, you should have like Theo's links and then just add to it.
I need to finish, I've been working on a website and then I got scrolled up. People keep thinking of things for me to do.
Yeah, like, hey, do this, what's up?
Well,
Or hey, let's move to New Mexico.
no, somebody in the church and, oh, randomly the sound system was failing.
Yeah.
And because I do tech, right? I'm like, I don't know anything about audio stuff.
You want to know what happened the last 2 weeks? Given finals, trying to finalize grades. Toilet blows up and I'm replacing a garbage disposal. I'm like, I could totally be building stuff for next semester or not doing any.
Right,
We
right,
have
right.
Jefferson's grade exams, right?
Oh, I-
But I do everything online. I'm a techie, so give me a beta opportunity for something, I'm gonna take it. So I tech it up. And so I try and get my exams so that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm building a new course.
But yeah, so there's all this stuff that gets in the way of
Yeah.
doing what it is. And of course, we can spend infinite time on hacking and getting rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, I put some starter notes on some things back there. Right?
hey, I think that little, if you come back there, he's such a. A little help plastic for food. What else?
Yeah, I think I put it on. Yeah. But if it goes up. If it goes home to me, I'm not. Great lit, yeah. I have to interview based on my little camera. Yeah. 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 It's like a piece of cardboard and stuff. So we're on the house road, so I went. Switch out of Blonder, I'm saying. I really enjoyed that. So, when she comes home, she goes down the back. The windows over one. The sidewalk. So she'll swing around there. Be like, oh my God. So he'll go there and he started like. He tried wood, so he shut there. He's like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's like, I didn't care about it. Stop that dude. I mean, it's why somebody makes you up. I was like. Close the door, right?
Did she do it? You got it. I brought her some, the bitter spray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she do it? She doesn't know much about it. There's still much. I was like. Or, I mean.
Yeah, checks on you.
Don't let it- those are two options. And it's the two of them. The dog will obey. Stop. So I was, who has her cousin? And that's not. So I would assume she was in like, she never heard of it. It's most likely her phone died. Because she never told me. Reason why. Yeah. That's pretty much all I. Yeah. I mean, there's, I mean, and yet, yeah, I mean, that's two words. She's not. But she's not worried about me, she's like. Not worried about this. Yeah. I mean, it'll be okay. No, that's right. The danger area of that program. I don't, I'm not doing it wrong. Yeah. That's like, oh. Labor Day, my boy. All the day on this one. Yeah. There's people who sit there. Yeah. Just like you. Yeah.
They go.
He was not a fan of you. He was like so expensive. He was like, oh, walking around all himself. No. Yeah, it's all dire. Right. We went to.
Yeah. You know, yeah. Farmer Elementary. Got about 5 more minutes.
It wasn't. Yeah. It may not have been that.
We're doing it, see left. Yeah. That's a binocular setup, right?
There's things like that. I'm hoping that CA. He went away last year.
Okay, so we're gonna go up.
Yeah, I showed her the price.
See, here's the problem, though, that if something my wife goes, that means value, but I'm like, my stuff's sort of.
Yeah.
It's a thumb brand, keep what she's doing.
Is that even a mark on the next file? Yeah, right. Yeah. The only time. Let's see if you can include that one of our BSAS. Or 90, yeah.